Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and today's episode is, of course, brought to you by Housecall Procom. Honestly, guys, if you're running a detailing business and you're looking for a better way to follow up with your customers, kind of keep record of what services each customer has had in the past, one of my favorite features is the customers have to sign before they get the service done and agree to the service. You can take credit cards through it. So many features you could check out. I have a special link if you go to housecallpro.com/ADP for Auto Detailing Podcast. It lets them know that you came from me, which helps me out as well. So I appreciate that. But really, that software is just crazy. I use it every day in my detailing business. And if you take heed to what I think is the best thing happening to detailers in 2020 and beyond, which is what this episode is about, you can really capitalize on these things. And it's really all about, as we get into the episode now, it's really all about one thing, especially I've talked about in the Detailer Inner Circle with Pete, and one thing that detailers really haven't focused on at all is building up an asset. And an asset could be a multitude of things, but pertaining to detailing, the only asset detailers really pay attention to is their equipment. And really the bigger asset is their client database. And the problem is that we don't treat this like an actual business, and so we don't keep accurate records of our clients and what services they are getting done and how much they're spending, etc. And we don't have that database of clients, that pool of clients to pull from and build up as an asset that we could actually sell. And instead of getting, $3,000 to $5,000 for equipment only, you could probably get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands for your business if you actually had a database of clients and past services rendered and all that stuff. So Housecall Pro helps with that. And so housecallpro.com/ADP. However, the biggest or the best thing happening to detailers in 2020, and it kind of just came across my plate this morning in a local Facebook community group, is that my local full service car wash, that is important to know, full service car wash is closing. So where I live, there is actually a few car washes, but I kind of live in this pocket where you actually have to drive, 7-8 miles to get to any car wash in any direction. But the full service car washes, and this is a trend that I've been seeing happen for a few years, not with full service car washes closing, but with the pop-up of these express car washes. So this basically a tunnel only, almost like you would find at a gas station, but they, it's like $5, $7. You run your car through. There's basically 2 employees manning the whole operation, and then they offer a free vacuum. Right, so these and that's what they call them, express car washes, are starting to pop up, but it just came across, again, like I said, this Facebook community group this week that my local car wash, full service car wash, the one closest to my service zone, is in fact closing, or they're closing and then going to be reopening later in the year as a express car wash. Now, why are they doing this? Why are these express becoming popular, and why are now full service car washes starting to transition into this express car wash? And then why is this good for us as detailers? Finally, we caught a break with ceramic coatings, PPF. People are doing good with that and actually really creating big viable businesses that are generating a lot of revenue. And now finally we're seeing the advent of these full service car washes going into express washes. And basically what I think the biggest problem is is that its labor is super expensive. So I just pulled up while I was talking. This local car wash, to give you an example, has been in business for 62 years. Now, that's actually not accurate at all now that I think about it, because it was actually it was a gas station car wash before, so I guess technically maybe it was. So after 62 years, they're going to be closing this coming Sunday. This episode's actually going to go out on Monday. It says they've washed 6 million cars. They've helped the community raise $2 million in fundraising. And they go on to say the car wash is tired and ready for some new energy. Must have sold. 2020 will be brand new, state-of-the-art, modern car wash experience. Interesting. Called Clean Wave Express Wash. So again, Express Wash, going from full service car wash and detail to express wash. Labor's expensive, and to operate a full service car wash, they probably have, I would guess, 15 to 20 employees there at any given time. It's on a very busy corner. It's a great location, but they have 15 or 20 employees. Now, as a lot of us know, trying to hire one employee is pretty much a nightmare for our detailing business. And I can only imagine having to staff 15 or 20 at a time is probably a revolving door. This is pure speculation, but I'm speculating that they have a ton of workers' comp claims, or have had a ton of workers' comp claims. Maybe their detailing business. I got a car detailed there one time, and it was horrendous. So maybe a lot of people coming back complaining. Their Yelp reviews are not that great, which is pretty standard for your typical full service car wash, because again, it all goes back to those employees. You have employees that don't give a crap because they're probably making minimum wage and just a few bucks in tips a day. They don't really care. So they don't do a great job because they don't care. And maybe they're in between jobs. They're going to be out of a job. Whatever their reasoning is, that they just don't care. And so they do a poor job that reflects badly on the whole car wash as a whole. And then eventually it's just a hassle, right? So it's a hassle for management, if you can even get someone good in management. And you can see labor is a big, big factor in all this. So if you and they're probably getting 25, 30, 40 bucks for a car wash, which is great. But again, if you factor in the labor savings and look at the total picture, their net income after all their expenses is relatively low on that car wash. And then you factor in the additional headache of employees, and it's just not worth it anymore. Like they said, 62 years in business. I'm sure it's not only gone through a couple hands, but it's probably just a total nightmare on that front. Now, if you contrast that to an express car wash, where you really only have to have 2, 3, 4, call it 5 employees at any given time, because essentially it's the customer doing all the work. You just have kind of the facility there to set it up. You have one person kind of, taking the money from the customer, maybe one person at the start of the tunnel, one person at the end of the tunnel, and maybe one person kind of controlling the vacuums and making sure everything's okay there. 5 employees is a lot more manageable to deal with, and it's just an express wash, so it's cheap, right? You're talking $5-7. And so the expectation of the customer is much different at a $7 car wash or a $5 car wash as it is compared to a $40 or $50 car wash. And really, they're just running it through the tunnel, and then they get something for free on the back end with vacuums. They don't have to buy tire shine. They don't have to buy wax. They don't have to buy microfiber towels. They don't have to buy extra ladders. They don't have to buy buckets. There's so much extra hard cost savings in conjunction with the savings that they're getting from not having to staff as many employees, not having to have management hire more people, spend time interviewing people, getting new uniforms for all those people, all the extra stuff that is just so time consuming and really so expensive on a big scale. So again, expectation of the customer is less because it's cheaper. They're not out as much money. They're not doing any shampooing or compounding, so they're not burning paint. they're not leaving a surface too wet and then it smells like mildew and the customer comes back. All the extras are gone. And this, my fellow detailers, is why it is so good for us. I want to see more express car washes pop up. For one, it draws people in, they're getting their cars cleaner, right? Which is great. Two, with the removal of full service car washes, customers have no other option. They have express, $5 to $7, or they have to step up to a detail shop. So no longer will we see the days of people going, well, I can go to my local full service car wash. Well, my voice totally changed there. And get it done for $199. They got a special. We as detailers know that the local the local full service car wash detail is totally different than the experience that us as professional detailers can bring to them, right? But shoot, our price may be $300, right? And so to the general consumer, they don't really know the difference. They're just going to go spend $200 at the local car wash. Are they going to be happy? Maybe. Are they not? Maybe. But at least they have somewhere they could bring it back to. Yada yada yada. And the comparison that I always make, and it's the difference between the PDR industry and the detailing industry. And now I think we're going to become more like the PDR industry. In the PDR or the paintless dent repair industry, if you don't have, you can have a dent guy come out and fix a dent for, call it $150, right? It may take that guy 15 minutes to do it. That customer doesn't complain that it only took the guy 15 minutes and he's making too much money, because the alternative to paying him $150, regardless of how long it takes him, is to go to the body shop. And the body shop, then you're getting insurance involved. You got to pay your deductible. You're without your car for a week. The pain of going to the body shop is so great that they don't care that it only took the PDR guy 15 minutes and the PDR guy made $150 in 15 minutes. They don't care because the pain to go to the body shop is so great. Now, if you contrast that to the detailing industry, where the alternative is the local full service car wash on the corner, that's easy to get to. They'll probably do just as good of a job, maybe a little less, but maybe not enough less for it to really matter. And they're usually significantly cheaper than the professional detailer, right? So that's why price is always such a problem with detailers, especially new detailers, is that you're competing with a cheaper local way to get the same service done, though it's probably not as good, but it's just as convenient. It's significantly cheaper, not more expensive usually. And so that's why there's always this price war to the bottom, and price is so hard to get. And we've seen kind of the rates of detailing kind of stagnate for so long, is because that's been the alternative. But now that we see the full service going away, there is no local alternative like there has been for so long. So there's going to be, well, sure, for $7 you can go freaking take your car to the express wash on the corner, or you can hire a detailer, which now the detailers are just competing with each other, which ideally all the rates will raise, right? And so the thing that I see that's so awesome is that there's no longer competition with the local full service car wash. That isn't an option anymore, or it's not gonna be an option anymore for very long, especially when we look at stuff like minimum wage going up, and all those fun things. And so the express car washes are, I think, the best, and definitely going to be the best thing to happen to professional detailers, detail shops moving forward 2020 and beyond, because there's now no longer a cheaper alternative for people to go and get their car done at a local level. They're going to have to call a detailer because they're eventually not going to want to vacuum their own car. It's just a car wash. It's just literally you're running your car through a tunnel. So it's not getting the deeper cleaning of the car. It's not restoring the trim. It's not shampooing the mats. They don't even have that as an option. It's run it through the tunnel and vacuum it yourself. So who knows if the majority of people even vacuum it themselves. In fact, I'll probably utilize these to, if they're touchless, to go get the car kind of cleaned up. If you live somewhere like I do where runoff can be an issue, I'll go utilize that for $5 because it's cheaper to do that than for me to do it, honestly, especially if there's no line, and then detail it back at my shop or whatever. But this just came across my plate today. In fact, 4 hours ago it came across, and I was like, you know what? When I look at the comments, it's so funny. It's they just look, here we go. Very sad. This keeps happening. Full service washes turning into express. There we go. So people are seeing it. Consumers are seeing it. They know it. All these comments say, that they, after 3 times being greeted by a Shirley cashier, I go elsewhere. People don't like this car wash, and all those factors. So I'm pumped up. I wanted to do this podcast because I was so pumped up, and I want to give you guys encouragement. If you're just starting in detailing, it's a great time to get started. Stuff like this is happening, and it's going to push more and more consumers to call you to get to your door. And so I'm super, super excited for that. And make sure when you do that you're keeping track of these customers, and you could do that again through Housecall Pro. Housecallpro.com/ADP will help you do it easily and efficiently, and so you could build up that asset to maybe one time sell. You never know. Shoot, you could even sell it to your local competition. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that one.